Now, thousands are expected to descend on Clonmel this weekend for one of the big events in the Irish sporting calendar, the National Hare Coursing Festival. The national meeting is now in its 92nd year, but there are renewed calls for hare coursing to be banned. Animal welfare groups protested outside Leinster House this afternoon, demanding that TDs outlaw hare coursing. Drivetime's Barry Lenihan was there.
No excuse for animal abuse. There's 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 no
Aideen Urell, and I'm spokesperson for the Irish Council Against Blood Sports.
Why are you here today outside Leinster House?
Well, we're here today to highlight the ongoing disgrace that is live hare coursing going on in this country. To think that it's banned in England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, and we're still holding on to a thoroughly abusive sport where thousands of hares are taken out of the wild and used as live bait in front of greyhounds. We filmed hares being absolutely battered and mauled. I witnessed one being mauled into the ground and put into a box, and I presume that's the end of that hare. They suffer dreadful injuries from being battered and mauled. They die afterwards from their injuries. We're a shame and a disgrace as a country.
Tell me what happens to the hares when they run up to the events.
They're netted from the wild with a licence given courtesy of Minister Heather Humphreys. Approximately 5,000 hares are taken from the wild for use as live lures. They're kept captive in coursing compounds, and they're so-called trained to run up the feed in front of the greyhounds. It's an appalling situation for hares. They're terrorised from the time they're captured in those nets to the time they're released in front of the greyhounds. It's all stress and terror for these timid animals.
My name is Mary Kelly, and there's a variety of animal rights groups here. I'm representing DAFA, Direct Action for Animals, and we're totally opposed to blood sports. Blood in animals and killing them is not a sport. Chasing them around at the weekend, hunting, is not a sport. Rabbits and hares, they have feelings and they're absolutely terrified being chased.
I'm John Fitzgerald, and I'm from the Campaign for the Abolition of Cruel Sports. There's an alternative to the use of live hares in coursing. There's drag coursing, in which no live hare is used, a mechanical lure is used, and that was introduced in Australia when live hare coursing was banned there, and now it's very popular over there. We too could transfer to a more humane version where you don't have live hares being set up as bait.
The Irish Coursing Club would argue, or those involved in hare coursing would say that, look, there's research done, Quaircos, the Belfast University body, that Irish hares are 18 times more abundant in areas managed by local coursing club, that you will deplete the hare stocks if you were to ban hare coursing.
Well, hare density throughout the island is very thin. But then again, you could say that you have more dogs in areas where you have dog fighting, but that wouldn't justify that activity.
You'll drive the sport underground if you ban it.
But you see, the problem there is that you could make that argument on any issue, like drink driving, like cockfighting, dog fighting, badger baiting are all illegal, and nobody's suggesting we should reintroduce them on the basis that we could properly regulate them.
The majority of people in Irish society don't support hare coursing, but the problem is that the government, TDs in particular, have a lot of connections with the hare coursers.
Hare coursing, not the biggest fan of it, I love rabbits. Because, you have the little bunny, and the little bunny's, having a great old day. But then you have this, big old dog chasing after it, and then the bunny's not having any of that. So, it's not too cool.
And what's your message to the people attending the big coursing meeting in Clonmel this weekend?
I think that it's a terrible thing, and if they're there, there should be more awareness about the future of these animals.
OK, Maureen O'Sullivan, Independent TD, Dublin Central.
Maureen, you're here at this protest against hare coursing. In the summer you tried to introduce a bill to ban it. What happened?
Okay. It was so disappointing because it was followed the party lines, the whip was imposed, and I thought this was a great opportunity to see our new politics in action. But unfortunately there are very strong groups in both the main political parties, and Sinn Féin as well, who are in favour of live hare coursing. Whereas I thought a free vote we would have had a chance, because I do know there are people in those parties who are not in favour of live hare coursing. The mind-boggling at times.
You're TD for Dublin Central, but you know, the Arts and Heritage Minister Heather Humphreys, she spoke of the arts and heritage of hare coursing. Independent TD Matty McGrath spoke of it being passed through generations and how integral hare coursing is to rural Ireland. You'll be stripping rural Ireland of something very important if you're to ban it.
The point I would make is that there are many people in rural Ireland who also want to see it banned. And I dislike completely this thing that because I'm from Dublin, that why am I getting involved in a rural pastime? I mean, I'm an Irish person and I'm concerned about this.
My real hope is that hare coursing and fox hunting would be banned in the Dail Eireann, that the ministers or TDs would vote against, the majority would vote against it, would be banned. I would love it.
Well over 20 years, 1975 even,
I know,
there was talk of banning this and it hasn't happened. Do you see it happening?
Forever hopeful, but I don't know, doesn't seem to happen anytime soon, but hopefully the sooner the better, for the hares and the foxes' sake.
And that's Drive Time's Barry Lenihan reporting from outside Leinster House.